So who knows in this room? Quéméré.
Oh, at least
Wow.
one, two. Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Few hands. So you have the.
My fan club.
and
I always come with my fan club.
and future fan club.
Hopefully.
So Han, when we prepared this panel session, I felt in love. Yeah, for the first time. Yeah, finally in 2020, I felt in love about your last project, a documentary, a series of documentary, where the purpose is to meet people such as residents, witnesses, observers, and experts, all committed to facing up to the threat of climate change. So from the Netherlands to Lake Chad, from the Canadian Arctic to the Maldives, or from Jakarta to Florida, you will explore 6 countries currently facing climate crisis. So what is the intention of this amazing project?
Well, it took me a few years to come to this project. I started as a rower, so it's a long way to go from rowing the Atlantic solo both ways to this project today. I'm not a filmmaker, I'm not a journalist, I'm just a witness. And my first rowing was in 2001, so it has been now 19 years ago. And I really did it for myself. It was kind of a pilgrimage. I had some idea of a performance. I never intend to be a record woman. It just came like that because the currents were nice with me.
Your passion,
And
the passion.
I don't know, maybe because I'm Britain, I'm stubborn, because Britain people are stubborn. But well, this first crossing really made me realize that my place was exactly where I was standing, on the ocean in the middle of nowhere, rowing pretty slow because the pace is like 5 kilometers an hour. So it took me 56 days to go from Canary Island to West Indies. And this moment I realized that was probably the beginning of my new life. So 2 years later, I did the North Atlantic rowing solo again, and it took me 87 days, which was a little longer. And during this time, imagine a boat which is 6 meters long, 20 feet long, so it's very small. You're very close from the ocean, and you can almost touch it. You touch it with yours, of course, but even your hand. And you're going so slow, you see everything that's going on all along the way. So I could see, of course, the animals, a lot of whales, dolphins, turtles, all kind of stuff. But I could see plastic as well. And plastic is what remains when the rest of the trash dives into the ocean.
One of the biggest issue, yeah.
It was, yeah. And I was in the Gulf Stream. Mark told us about the stream, the jet stream, but the Gulf Stream into the water is the stream that really brings a lot of trash all along this way through United States, across the Atlantic, towards Europe. So, of course, I couldn't just go my way and not think about what was going on. And
Just
so when
not anymore a witness. You want to go further.
well, from spectator,
Yeah.
yes, I ended up wanted to be an actor. And I thought that the best way maybe to be an actor is to share, to be here with you today, or to be in any place where people want to hear some of our stories. And stories are interesting because when you live something, when you really you are on the ocean, you see it. We speak about those gears, you know about the trash, but as long as you don't see it, well, it remains a kind of a concept. When you see it, you're really for weeks and weeks in the middle of nowhere. You don't see anyone, you don't talk to anyone, and all of a sudden you see this human print, which is trash. That is very violent. And I think that's really the moment when I started to realize I have to do something. I have to be a part of not the change now, but I will try. I try my best. And so little by little, I started to witness things and share with people. And then my trips, because I did some trips in between, led me to the Arctic. And I fell in love. Arctic is just an amazing place. And more than the Arctic, human people who live there, the Inuit who live there, are just amazing people. They have this sense we probably had centuries ago, or even just 50 years ago. Maybe my grandparents remember, or if they would be still alive, they would tell me about what nature was made of. Those people, they still have this sense. And I realized that I wanted them to share with us their experience. In the Arctic, you have erosion. It's like crazy. The village where now I am familiar with, which is called Tuktoyaktuk, is a village that is falling into the Beaufort Sea. And the houses are disappearing one after the other. I've been there for the first time in 2014. Now we are in 20. 6 years after, 8 houses have gone into the water.
Currently, we can see all these pictures on your website, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah, I didn't bring any picture because I was a little busy in Bangladesh and I just went back last week. So
victims of erosion too in
exactly,
Bangladesh, Dhaka,
exactly.
especially Dhaka. Yeah.
And so that was really a moment where I came to a producer and explained what I wanted to do. And my idea first was to really focus on this village, Tuktoyaktuk disappearing, because last summer...
How did you spell it for the audience? Tuktoyaktuk.
Tuktoyaktuk. Oh, it's easy. It's Tuktu in Inuvialuktun, which is the language spoken in Tuktoyaktuk, means the caribou. And Tuktoyaktuk means the place where you have caribous. So it's easy. Well, usually they say tuk.
Tweet that. Yeah, I challenge you to tweet.
And so, well, the idea of the Arctic was really to give to give speech to the people. Many times I've been watching TV or YouTube or different series about the weather, the climate change, all kind of stuff, and we most of the time speak from our point of view, Occidental people. We don't let the people who do live there to give a chance to explain to us what is going on. And I thought, well, maybe it's time. I want them to explain to us. I want them to tell us what is our life made of, what are the true change they are really seeing today. And so when I came to a producer and I explained to him, well, we have to go to Tuktoyaktuk. We have to let the people explain to us, because in few years, and it's not in 50 or 100 years, it's now, the village will be gone. And the people will be in exile. And the problem is the Canadian government at the moment try to relocate the people, but not in the same village. They will put the families Edmonton, which is like 2,000 miles away, Yellowknife, even in Montreal or Toronto. So those families, they have been for now more than 100 years together, and they are just apart. And last summer, I think that really what really made me angry and really wondering what's going on, people were concerned about what they call the village of the dead. It means the cemetery, because cemetery is going down into the water and nobody knows what they will do about the dead. So that is really a concern. That is something nobody talks about. So now, well, I had this idea of talk, and I was lucky enough to find Marc Andreani, who is in a part of my fan club here in the room, who said, well, you know what? I like your idea. Arctic is a great idea, but I think we should go further. We should go to a series where we would travel the world, because the exile, because of the rising of the water, is everywhere on the globe, And there are many stories, many human beings that can really share their experience, what they experience at the moment. So the image you're seeing today, the title is not ready yet. It's kind of
It's kind of
yes.
the title.
But that's the idea. It's the time of the exile for many of us. It's not in few years, it's now. So yes, the change is now.
And can you describe what we can find from an episode, for example?
So, well, I will be just the guide. I wish I could disappear, but it's not really possible. So I will be in the series, but more as a guide who will lead to the people. And the people will be really all kind of people. We want young people to share with us what is going on. We want old people to tell us about what is going on today, but how was it before. We want common people, ordinary people, like it's mentioned in the big room, but we want expert as well, but not expert from our country. We want expert from their country. And we want to share with probably local people who are trying their best to change what's going on, or at least to accommodate with the situation.
And if I understand well, your message is be careful, because one day we all could be climate refugees, because we can notice that this echoes of the UN message that estimates that by 2050, as many as 250 million people will be forced to go into exile because of climate change. So that's pretty scary, right?
Well, it is in a way, and well, I'm not good with numbers. And I don't really like numbers because we don't really know what's going on in the future, but we know that things are going on now, and it's not 100 people we are talking about. It's millions. That's true. But it's another. I mean, the idea of this theory is to maybe to envision what is going on and the change. And yes, we have to be aware of what's going on. But maybe there are some solutions sometimes.
We can find them in your documentaries. Solution.
Well, I don't have the solution.
No,
but I want the people that will
interview.
Exactly. Yeah. I want them to tell us, is there a solution, and if there's no solution, what is the next step? That's really we are not trying to find a solution for what is going on. It's impossible. But at least let those people explain to us what is their plan, how they envision their future, because they will have a future, but maybe their future won't be where they live today. And it's maybe to let us think that those people could be us. It's difficult sometimes when you have a concept to imagine how it is to leave your own house, how it is to leave your own family, how it is. So those people, I hope, will maybe tell us or give a little bit of humanity in those climate change, which sometimes are too big to be digested by us.
It's scary because 2 weeks ago, I was next to the Syrian borders in Jordan, and I make some portrait of Syrian refugees, children Syrian refugees. Again, it's very tough. Their living are so rude, and it's not funny. It's
no. I mean,
and they still have hope of the future. They want,
of course,
they all want to go back to Syria in their country and to be a good citizen. And it's very tough when you meet that kind of people. And
well, because you met those people, you know what you're talking about, and. But it's not always easy to meet those people. It's not always easy to understand what's going on. You have all kind of information, media, and you will see something one day and the other, the reverse, the day after. So it's quite difficult to make your mind clear about the subject. But we all know that yes, the subject is very serious. Those people, they don't want to. It's something we have a hard time to imagine. All the people that are moving at the moment in exile, they don't want to move.
No.
They don't want to come here. They don't want to go to another country. They want to stay where they belong.
In their country, of
and
course.
that is something a lot of people you're talking with don't realize. They believe that those people are so happy to come in France, for example. They enjoy the moment. No, they're not.
They meet their friend and all
their
their family.
culture,
Yeah,
their language, their identity. So it goes really far. And that is something we really need to think about.
You're right. And to finish, what do you want to people to do after watching your movies? Indeed, the fragility of the future is a concern for everyone, of course.
Well,
what is your main purpose?
For the people to get closer to other people. It's really, I want the human to be first place in the series. I want them to convince everyone that we have to fight not only for us, but for all the other one, maybe us, we don't know, but to maybe be more aware of what's going on and be more helpful to the others. So it's a matter of humanity. We lack some humanity at the moment, and that's a shame.
And to conclude, Anne, because I'm a journalist, I love storytelling, or storytellers, like you did well. So can you just share with us, to finish, a beautiful story, a beautiful encounter that you met in the field?
Well, I was in Bangladesh pretty recently.
Yeah.
I spent 3 weeks there, and it was a total surprise for me. I was invited as a guest for the very first festival of adventure. And I had no idea what to expect, but I'm curious. And I thought to myself, that's really a great opportunity to go there and see. And so I did. And I think I was expecting misery, sad people, sad country, dirty country. I mean, all those images we usually see about Bangladesh. And I was received like a queen, which is pretty amazing, by fantastic people in a country I had absolutely no idea about. Of course, there is misery, most of all in the big cities like Dhaka or Chittagong, but you have
Dhaka, a huge city, 150 million inhabitants.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable, it's crazy.
And more.
And more, yeah.
Some are in exile because of the rising of the water. But it's really a rich country with a very rich culture, rich mentality, generosity, humanity. And it was a great lesson for me because those people taught me this lesson of being together, strong, fighting for their culture, their language, their country. And if they invited me, it was in a way to show me that they are pretty aware of the image they have outside. And they really want to open, which is difficult because they have this bad burden to wear on their back. But I think this little window opening was really, for me, a chance, and for them too, because we could share, exchange, talk a lot. I explained them Brittany, because in Brittany we used to have our own language, and not only one language, we had many languages, which they do have in Bangladesh as well. So we could make parallels, and it was very interesting to share, but truly share. And so, yes, I came back with some richness I probably didn't have before leaving, and all my prejudices were just torn apart, which is fantastic. Never, ever I will have prejudices again, because I think you need to find your child spirit every time you meet someone, as if you were brand new and the person in front of you is brand new as well. You just meet and you open and you just want to share, but truly share, not with this kind of attitude we all have and pretend to be.
We have to be humble, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Anne, for this sharing. So interesting and inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.